with that, I will pass it to Mariana.
Thank you so much, Nicole, and I'm really excited to be here and to learn also from the two other countries, experiences in other countries. And to be honest, I was waiting a whole year to participate at the conference again. Last year was incredible. Yesterday was incredible. And I really hope that with these cases that we are going to present now, you'll get some ideas or at least some inspiration to continue working with the AMAZE content and the AMAZE videos. So first, I'd like to walk you through the countries where we are working with AMAZE. As you can see in this map, we are almost in all the region. We are still missing some countries where we haven't adapted videos, but we are using the adapted AMAZE videos. What I want to say here is that in all these countries that you have in color, we have adapted videos into Spanish, indigenous languages, or local languages. And in some other countries, for example, in Central America, even though we have not adapted videos into Spanish, like to their local Spanish, because I know this is something important to explain, even though we speak the same language throughout the region, there are many like small differences in pronunciation or in the way we use the verbs. So sometimes people want to get to identify with the characters, with the animation. So we have done that work in different countries in the region. But still, in some countries that you don't see colored here, we use the videos from other countries, or we adapt just content to disseminate among teachers, educators, and families, and of course, among young adolescents. So for us in Latin America, educators are like a key partner. They are our great partner. They are one of our most important actresses, like in disseminating and in understanding and in providing inclusive and quality comprehensive sexuality education in the region. So we work with the educators and teachers in both formal and non-formal educational settings. That means that we work with teachers that actually provide classes in the classroom within a school. And then we work with peer educators and educators that not necessarily work in the context of a school, but that they provide, like, for example, in communitarian spaces or in, I can give you very concrete examples. For example, they gather in parks, or probably the church lends, some churches or religious groups, they lend a salon or a place where they can provide CSE in different countries. So I think that's another way to reach young people, especially in very conservative contexts as the ones that we have in Latin America and the Caribbean. Also, there are other ways to collaborate with teachers and educators, is that teachers and educators provide feedback on the videos that we are adapting, on the language, on the best way to use some of the, as I was explaining, the Spanish, depending on the country. And also they help us align the AMAZE content with the national curriculums. And this is very relevant because, and this might be the case also in the US and in many, many other countries in the world, where you get like sort of credits when addressing a content from your curriculum. So that happens a lot in Latin America, where teachers, whenever they align something to the curriculum and they complete that task, they get sort of credits to finish their school year. It's a bit complex to explain that because it differs from one country to another, but I think that's an interesting also way to align and to adapt the content of AMAZE into the national CSE or educational curriculum. And when it refers to AMAZE training, we provide some training to teachers on the use of the videos. And of course, we have identified like excellent teachers in the region, like champions in the region, to produce their own My AMAZE list. So that's a very good also way to disseminate the content among young adolescents and to share with other teachers that are interested in providing CSE. So here is one example I wanted to share with you. This is a training session that we provided to teachers in Chile. So we disseminated, with our partner organization in Chile, which is APROFA. We disseminated a brochure. actually, this training was amazing because most of the teachers there have already used the videos, but we gave them like several ideas and they gave us more ideas on how to adapt the use of the videos into different methodologies, such as the ones that were explained just before. So we also explained them that how to work with the videos with families, not only with young adolescents, but also with families, especially to convince parents on the importance of CSE. And here, I don't know if you, well, I hope you do, but for example, this is a video of AMAZE Junior that was adapted in Chile, but it was also adapted in Mapuche, which is like one of the indigenous languages that is used in Chile. And the relevance of this example is that we not only work with teachers that are in urban areas in the countries, but especially with teachers that are in rural areas or in indigenous areas where access to this sort of content, like digital content or virtual platforms, it's always very hard. So it's just a way to approach the content to them to facilitate some additional resources. And of course, you know, we download the video in advance, we save it in the computer, and then we present it. And I will give you some other examples based on the ideas that we have received from teachers. Also, well, this is in Mexico. So after the COVID-19 pandemic, and this is something that we have all experienced globally, many countries in Latin America and the Caribbean were forced to close schools as everyone else, but in our region, it lasted for a lot of time. In some countries, even for 16 months. And that represented a huge problem, of course, but a huge delay and a huge gap in providing and in you know, incorporating especially populations like in situations of vulnerability or in rural areas, or like in places where access to education is already very limited. This represented a huge problem. So in Mexico, the Ministry of Education decided that they needed to continue to provide classes, and they did it through the television. So what happens in Mexico and in the region, and this is something I learned very recently, we started to consume a lot of internet and to access a lot of content on YouTube. Actually, Facebook, for example, was displaced by YouTube. And that for us represented a good opportunity because our content, our videos are on YouTube. So we were sure that at some point, if they were looking for this type of content, they would find our videos. But what is more relevant about this experience with the Ministry of Education is that the ministry actually realized that not everyone in Mexico had access to the internet or to a mobile device or like to WhatsApp, like nothing. But what we have in a country as big as Mexico is that we have TV, and there are like at least like 6 public channels that you can access no matter where you are, and those were the channels that provided like a limited like a limited schedule for education every day. So that was a wonderful opportunity to incorporate the videos. Of course, we had to do a lot of work with the teachers there to align the content with a curriculum and choose which were the videos that adapted the best to that specific content and to the objectives that they wanted to broadcast on that moment. So several videos of AMAZE have been broadcasted on TV, on educational TV. Here is actually the logo here on the left, and this is part of the Ministry of Education in Mexico program. Also here, well, we also implement in the region as part of the dissemination strategy some webinars on CSE topics. This was a webinar on youth childhood marriages or unintended unions in Latin America and the Caribbean. And here we worked with several experts. And here there is this Andrea on the top left side. She was a producer of one movie that raises awareness about this problem, about the situation of child marriage in our region. And this was also interesting because we had the participation from several countries, and there was a lot of interest from teachers and educators in the region that wanted to understand how to deal with a problem, like a cultural and social problem that is so prominent in our countries, in a positive way, like with a positive approach. So these are the type of activities we also carry out in Latin America and the Caribbean. And then we have, of course, the first cohort of youth ambassadors. This is really exciting. We are now working and something similar to what Maria was mentioning. We are just working with them to ask them to dub the voices. So we are training them to dub the voices, like to do it more professionally. And it has been an exciting opportunity. They have already passed a course on how to speak in public, and they are helping us with that. And one of the main strategies that we have to work with them before the end of the year is to ask them to produce their own video. Of course, if it's a good video, we hope to be also part of the AMAZE series of videos, but that the idea is for them to lead the process of producing a video that is on a topic that might be relevant for them. And here there are also the work we do with other UN agencies. For example, this was a series of, this was based on a completely new video that we produced in Argentina on masculinities. And this is a webinar with people from Spotlight, from the Ministry of Health, and from our local organization in Argentina, just to give you a very quick overview of what was this. And also here, this was very important as well for us because it counted with the participation of a national group that advances CSE in the country more at a political level, that they actually advocate for public policies in favor of comprehensive sexuality education. So that was this is something we enjoy doing. And next, I would like to share with you, unfortunately, Kyla couldn't join us today, but I wanted to share with you a very nice experience that we had with Belize, with our partner in Belize, especially during the pandemic, because they wanted to continue providing CSE. They support their programs with peer educators. So they train very young people and young people in general that were part of their youth network. They train them on different CSE topics. And once they get the full training, these youth members of the network become peer educators or facilitators. So this was very innovative for us. Let me show you some examples. So these are some of the peer educators that were receiving the training on how to use the videos. And it is worth mentioning that in Latin America, for each video that we produce or adapt, especially that we adapt or dub, we always develop an educational guide that accompany the video. So for example, you'll watch a video on sexual violence, then you'll have a guide for the educator that will follow like certain steps, some questions to open the discussion, some basic concepts, and some dynamics like methodologies based on different activities, and something that is relevant and fun for adolescents. So here they were receiving the training, and here this is very innovative, at least for us in Latin America. So when they were reporting on a project that we were doing on CSE, they told us like, you know what, we are reaching young adolescents with the AMAZE videos. And I remember asking Kyla at that moment, like how comes if you are not going anywhere, like if we are with this pandemic, nobody is able to gather, like how are you doing? And she was like, no, that's easy via WhatsApp. So, and then she explained all the methodology behind that. So the idea was to set up time period once a week. Mostly it happened on Fridays. So they had like a 2-hour session via WhatsApp. They would present a video. They will share the video on WhatsApp with a group of adolescents working in that specific chat. And then a facilitator would be asking questions around the video. So they would be recording their answers or their questions, or they would be just typing answers or questions. So these are some of the screenshots they shared with us. And also they started to use some of the videos to present the status, their status on the Facebook stories, WhatsApp stories. So WhatsApp status. So you can see that they took some images from the videos just to represent how they were feeling that day or something like that. So it was a very nice way also to give another use to the videos, apart from just like reviewing a certain topic or analyzing something. So this has been very innovative in the region, because most of the young adolescents and adolescents in the region have access to WhatsApp. So this was a very good approach and a very good activity that they did with the AMAZE videos. And here I am just showing, this is just a screenshot of the video, of one of the videos. So something that for us has been very concerning is that, and especially I think the pandemic, even though it has a huge challenge for all of us, it has also represented a very good opportunity to reflect on the options that many, many teachers have in our region. And we have realized that, as I was mentioning before, we have realized that teachers in rural areas and in indigenous areas, they want to access to this type of resources, but sometimes it's really hard. So in the south of Mexico, we had this adaptation. I just added they added the subtitles here, but it is actually dubbed into an indigenous language in Mexico, a Mayan language, which is Tzotzil. And you can see here the subtitles. This was also really amazing. So here we had two strategies working with educators. The first one was that they, as you know, like in many rural areas, not everyone has access to, first, not everyone has a mobile device, and not everyone has access to the internet. Like there is no even internet service. Like it's not that you cannot afford to pay internet, just the internet is not available in those areas. So what they did was to download the videos, and on Fridays, they would project the video in a night cinema. So they would just project this video and have a very brief discussions with families and young adolescents in their own language. And this was very relevant because we had teachers and educators leading this process. So this is also a wonderful opportunity. And given that in this areas of the region, something that is really appealing and that works very well is a radio and communitarian radios. They are trying to adapt the scripts of the videos into sort of podcast so that they can actually share the information of the video via podcast or a radio program or something more concrete. And you know, probably the fact of not having images would require another type of dialogue. So this is another example. And just a very quick example also of how we adapt our content to the different countries. So here we have someone was asking on the chat if we have Portuguese videos. We do have some adaptations, but they were adapted in Brazil. Again, the Portuguese from Portugal and from Brazil differs a little bit, but still it can be used, or we can adapt in Portugal as well in the I don't know, in the next months. And then also some content on the launch of AMAZE in Uruguay and the adaptation into indigenous languages. And this is a gift I wanted to share with you. This is a gift of one of our fans. This is sorry, I don't know how to say this in English. It's like, you know, it's an original painting with watercolors, probably, I think. I don't know if you say like that, but it's, yeah, we received this as a present because, yeah, we have a lot of fans in the region and they are actually following the work we are doing. And we have every day, we receive more comments and more requests from teachers and educators on how to use and how to adapt the videos for their own context. So that's it from my side. Nicole, we are adapting videos we are continuing adapting videos in the region. These are our handles. And I think that's it. I pass it over to you, Nicole. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariana.